Hello and welcome, all you wonderful Tarot group members. Welcome back to the, what are we calling it? The Fortune Teller.
The Fortune Teller Show.
The Fortune Teller Show, okay.
Just like the Tonight Show,
Yeah.
but we're the Fortune Teller Show. We're way more interesting. Fountains of wisdom.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we are the veritable Ace of Cups
Yeah.
of Tarot. Well, particularly Paris.
And the Judgment card.
That's true. Yes. So we had some good comments last week where we didn't get through all of the questions, and there's now more questions, and some people's questions that we answered last week, now they have more questions for us. So I must have hit the nail on the head there. Yeah, but is there anything that the audience doesn't know about you?
About me?
Is there something that something interesting or unusual about?
Well, most of the group know that my on again, off again relationship with Gypsy Anna.
Oh yes, Gypsy Anna.
It's
Yes.
a little bit of a saga.
Yes.
So one day I'm going to tell the whole story,
Right.
but most people know it, and there's a lot of people that don't know it because there's a lot of new people in the group that have no idea what's going on. But this is Gypsy Anna, which I will put her photo here in the edit.
She's a good-looking girl.
Yeah.
When were you with her? I mean,
Well, I used to work in a shop many years ago called Inner Harmony out in Campbelltown.
Yes.
And one day, Gypsy Anna arrived, and she had a maniacal cackle laugh.
Right.
And I looked at her and I just thought she's the most adorable thing I've ever seen. And it was love at first sight from that moment on.
Okay, it must have been the big wart on the nose, was it?
The wart on the nose, the big gap teeth as well. Yeah,
Well,
that smile. Look at that wicked smile. How could you say no to that?
So today, what we're talking about your book, which is the Trinity Fortune Teller Cards book. Have you got the book there?
Well, I have my 4 books. Okay, so I have my Find Your Desire. I have my Favomancy Beans.
You've just finished that book.
Just finished this one.
Yes.
Yeah. I have my Lenono fortune telling cards.
Yep.
Which
I
are very
own
popular.
them. I own that book, and I own the Lenono.
But today I was going to feature the Trinity cards. Okay.
I also have this book, and I have the cards, which we're using today.
Now I thought, because most of our audience are tarot readers, I thought we would do something that is not tarot to keep them, interested, learning something new. Most of them kind of know tarot, and I just thought we would showcase the Trinity cards. We're going to do love readings and other questions as well.
Yep.
So I'm going to teach you how to read the cards as well. So
Great.
It's kind of like a new topic, a new tool to learn and use.
Well, given that I actually bought this book, I thought I better read this again before we do this podcast. So I did. So I have some questions for you straight up.
Okay.
About this book, and it's first of all, where can someone who wants to buy this book, where would you actually buy
At the moment, it's best to contact me directly through message. Okay, through private message. Direct message me if you want to buy the book.
Now let's talk about, first of all, why did you call it Trinity? That's interesting.
Well, Trinity, because I have a deck here. Trinity, the cards have triples of every card.
I saw that, except for one.
Except for
right?
one, yeah.
Yes.
So, for example, there are 3 hearts, right?
Yes.
So 1, 2, and 3. 3 hearts. There are 3 apples.
Okay.
Apples are the golden apples, which are all about seduction and temptation.
Yeah, I keep getting those all the time. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll explain the story.
Yeah.
Then there is also 3 Medusa.
Oh, this is why. Yeah. Yeah.
Medu-
I tell you what, Paris, this is a really good system for identifying blocks in your life. That's
Yeah.
what I noticed with me.
Yeah.
That you can quickly identify, because when that Medusa card comes out, you know things are locked, are pretty hard to get through. So
Yeah.
to me, I think the best guidance that you'll get, I mean, just for me,
Yeah.
is you'll identify where those blocks are in your life.
Yeah, it tells you Medusa was the goddess that turned things to stone. So if someone is asking a love question and they get Medusa as the outcome card, it's showing that they're blocking themselves. Medusa also was the goddess that was so ugly she turned things to stone.
Oh, God.
So that could be that the person's not feeling attractive, they're not feeling open, they're blocking themselves. So yeah, Medusa's an interesting one, but the way they killed Medusa in mythology was by getting her to look at her own reflection.
Oh, right.
So
The
it's
old
really
narcissist
about
trick, huh?
Yeah, it's really about noticing your own blocks.
Okay, yeah, that is a really deep. That's a very deep statement right there that you just made. So these cards go quite deep. I see you've got a Wheel of Fortune there.
The Wheel of Fortune, similar to the Tarot Wheel of Fortune.
Okay.
Okay, so the art is literally the game Wheel of Fortune. So you've got to spin the wheel, take a chance, make a move, play the game, right?
Now, am I right in saying that for example, there's a merman
There's a
card
merman
here,
as well.
which
There's
means,
actually 3 mermen.
Yeah, but with the merman, you'll notice that is it one or two of the mermen? They're looking in opposite directions, which indicates
Where the problem is. So we've got one looking left and one looking right, and one sort of looking direct at you as well. So these, and I'll show you how these work as we go, but the direction is important as well. So it
Yeah.
kind of tells you which way the problem's coming from, etc.
I don't like those mermen.
No,
The-
these
the-
are seductive. They're seduction and slippery.
Okay, they're slippery fish. Those mermen.
They're slippery fish. Mermaids in ancient mythology, especially Greek mythology, they're the ones that used to sing to the sailors, and the sailors would
Yeah.
get shipwrecked.
That's right. That's right. Yes,
So
I
the
remember that.
mermaids and mermen and fishy people are not usually your friends.
No. Well, let's move on to the more positive, because you've got some Pegasus there, which is the card that I do really like.
Pegasus is the horse with wings, and he's the helpful friend that used to help the hero, that used to help Perseus out of difficult situations. So when Perseus confronted Medusa, Pegasus was there to help him fly away.
To me, Pegasus is like it's like a phoenix rising from
Yeah.
the ashes. You know, it's like a
Yeah.
new beginning or breaking free from something. But again, they're facing in different directions, aren't they?
Yeah, there's 2 that are facing left and one facing right. So,
Okay.
it's telling you what direction the help is coming from. Sometimes Pegasus could also be about travel. So it could be you need to travel, you need to go on a journey.
Okay. And what else have you got there that's uplifting? Oh, you've got the
Got
crowns.
the golden crown. The golden crown is about money and success and power.
Oh yes, we all love that.
This is a very good one to have in a career question.
Ah yes.
Not so good in love questions though, because it means you're being too logical, too much in your head. If you think of the royal family, you know, they marry for prestige and for the image. They're not really interested in how the person feels, right?
Yeah.
They're interested in if it's a king looking for a queen, you know, what is her status? Is she from a rich family or a rich background? They're not usually telling the king to follow his heart. Usually that he has to follow tradition.
Yeah,
So this one is not a good one for romance. It's more like marrying for money or marrying for power
yeah.
or marrying for position.
I mean, that's very common. That's normal in today's society to marry for money or power.
Yeah.
There's lots of reasons people get married, folks.
Yeah,
And it's not just for love.
that's right. And that one tells you that you may marry or you may be in a relationship, but it's not for love necessarily. It's more for what you can gain. The next one is the ring. So we've got 3 rings.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the commitment card, is it?
Commitment. Yep. Diamond ring. It's also to do with wealth. and
Okay.
it's also to do with contracts, any type of contract. So if it's a
Oh,
work
okay.
question,
Okay.
could be that there's a contract.
Yep. And are these read up only upright, or
Yeah,
do they?
yeah.
Okay.
This deck you can read it only upright. So when a card comes in reversed, you just turn it upright.
Okay.
I mean, you can take note that it came in reverse, but it doesn't have to be. You don't read it reversed. You don't need to. It will answer your question regardless. The next image is the violets, violet flower. Now, violets need the right elements to grow. Okay, a plant is a very delicate thing, especially a violet flower. Violets need the right type of soil, the right amount of water, and the right amount of sunlight. If one of those things is too strong or not there, it will wither up. Okay, so this one is telling you to have the right elements in the relationship or the question.
Okay.
It can also be associated with anything to do with vitality, health, well-being. And it's also about being grounded and patient, because a flower or a plant takes a long time to grow,
Yes.
and it needs the right sort of foundation, the not right soil. And the last card, there's only one of these. There's the scissors. Now, the scissors is about obviously ending or cutting something away,
Yep.
or finishing.
Sometimes you've got to clear the dead wood,
That's
or
right.
like cut the cord. You know.
That's right. So basically, we have three of every image, and that's why it's called Trinity, because it's in trine. It's in
Okay, well,
triplicate.
It's interesting that you call it, because the Trinity is sort of a religious sort of a thing too, isn't it? With
Yeah.
I guess in the West we say the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, don't we?
Yeah, that's the most common usage for it. But Trinity just means things that are in three.
Yeah.
Because before
Yeah.
Christianity, there were other like pantheons with trinities. Like they had, let me think of one. They had like Isis, Horus, and the father Osiris. So that was a trinity as well.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Trinity's not just Catholic or Christian. It goes back,
Much
to other
further.
cultures as well.
So that's the book there, and
Yeah.
was this the first book you wrote, or the second book after?
That's the
No
second
More?
one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the second book. Yeah.
Now, I went through this last night, and I saw there was a really heartwarming story about a lady from Germany. So maybe people don't know about you, is that you were working in Malta.
I was working and living in Malta for about 4 years, and when I was there, I met a lot of Europeans that were on holiday there. I had a shop in Malta that was near the seaside, so I had a lot of tourists come in and want a reading. And there was a particular lady that was a German lady that I remember, and I wrote about the encounter with her in the book, about how she came for a love question. She wanted to know about her love life, and there was no love cards, there was no hearts, there was no rings, and
Yes.
I basically talked to her about that, and then the story was in the book, which I can't fully remember because I've written so many books.
Well, the lady rang you after 12 months and
Oh,
said,
that's
"Look,
right.
your advice was good. I took it on board."
That's right.
And then you did another spread for her, and it was showing a lot of lovey-dovey cards.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah. So what happened was when she was holidaying in Malta, she got the reading with me, and I said, "There's no love cards. You don't have any love energy."
Yeah.
And she was a bit disappointed, but
Yeah.
she also realized that she wasn't, being very open to love. And then about a year later, she met someone. She rang me from Germany,
Yeah.
and she told me that she had met someone because she had taken on what I had told her, which was that she wasn't exhibiting any love energy,
That's
and
right.
that helped her to realize that she was actually quite shut down.
Yes, and I believe that you have, Paris has put in the actual reading that the lady had initially,
Yes.
and then the reading that the lady had at the end. So
Yeah.
after 12 months, but she took on what Paris said. So this, obviously, this system is a sort of a clear and uncomplicated way of. Sometimes the tarot, it gets a little bit too much, with all the symbolism, and you can overread. I
Yeah.
think this is a very good way to get to the heart of the problem. It's going to be obvious if the client's coming in for a love reading and there's no love cards.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of this system, and this is why I created this system many years ago, was because sometimes people would come for a simple question, will they meet someone? Or will they find love? And you would get, the Tower, the Hangman, the Ten of Cups, the Ten of Swords, Three of Swords, Three of Cups, and it'd be like, what is going on here? So I started to simplify and use this system. I pull out this system and say, look, let's see your love energy. Let's see if you've got a dominance of hearts or crowns, or a dominance of the Wheel of Fortune or Pegasus, who runs away from any type of Pegasus runs away from commitment because he wants to be free. So sometimes when someone has the Wheel of Fortune or Pegasus, that would indicate that they don't want to be settled down. So for example, if like I get this a lot with women clients, they might have met a guy and they come for a reading to find out if the guy wants to be with them, and they'll get Pegasus. And I'll often say, this guy might not want to be committed. He might want to travel or be free. And then they'll try to grab him and he'll run away. Just like I said.
Yeah, okay.
And I'll say, this guy does not want a commitment. And then they'll say, yes, he does. And I'm like, no, he does not. And
I'll
then
change him.
I'll change him. I'll tame him. And then it's like, no, Pegasus doesn't want to be tamed.
Yes.
He wants to fly in and fly out, Pegasus.
I know.
So, so we're going to see when we get to the readings how they work. And these are very blunt.
Yeah.
So we're going to get some interesting...
For some reason I get all the bad cards in this one, so that's why.
Okay.
It's just multiples of Medusa, or you know what I mean? So for some reason I'm just full of blocks. That's why I'm doing
So a lot of reflection is needed.
Yeah,
you get a lot of Medusa.
Yeah. So look, I wrote some notes here. So you've got a few different types of spreads here that you can do. The 3-card spread, the 5-card spread.
Yeah.
Then you've got the 10-card spread.
Yeah, so you got the 3-card spread.
And guys, I just want to let you know, I read this book in one night, and I did the practice, and it's quite easy.
Yeah, it's very simple. Then there's the 5-card spread.
Yeah.
These spreads can be used for tarot as well. Like if you... They are made for Trinity specifically, but they can be used in tarot card spreads as well. Then it's got the 10-card spread. Okay, that's the full spread. And then at the end,
it's shaped differently than the Celtic cross.
Yeah, it's shaped differently. It's not connected to tarot in any way, except you can use it as tarot as well, but it's not from tarot.
Yeah. And
then at the end, there's the spirit spread. So it's a way to connect with spirits.
So I found this part interesting. This is unusual from you, Paris, because you're not really the most how am I going to say? I didn't even think you believed in spirits.
Well, I don't. When I have clients, I don't often emphasize that side of things, because I try to get people to be responsible in the earth plane where they are now and in the future. Sometimes when you do spirit readings in a shop, the person may have lost somebody or going through a grieving process, and it's quite heavy.
Yeah.
And I try not to encourage too much of it. Yeah. Same as health readings. I'm not a health practitioner, I'm not a health professional. I can see if someone's likely going to get better or not, when I use cards. But I don't want to be sitting there telling people if they're going to get through remission, and if chemo's going to work, and if their fertility, IVF is going to work. I mean, I do that if people ask for that and need that, but I don't want that to be the main thing that I do. Otherwise I'll be very drained. And same with spirit. Like when someone comes to me and the reading needs to go that way because it might be very relevant, but often people come in the shop. I mean, my shop is right in the middle of Sydney, right? It's in King's Cross.
Yes.
And it's mostly people walk by traffic. The last thing I need is 10 people a day asking me about spirit. I'll just be exhausted.
Yeah.
And a lot of people may ask about spirit but not really have any real reason to connect with spirit. They just might be interested.
Yes. Well, I see that it's about more about the ancestors, or identifying
the ancestors
that want to help you.
Yeah. This tells you how to connect with the ancestors, with spirits around you. It tells you if there are any around you.
Yeah.
It tells you where they're from and who they're connected to, like whether it's your mother's side or your father's side, that
Yep.
kind of thing.
Can I ask you, because there's a story in the book of how you were able to identify a
Yeah.
client's, was it her son or her brother that had passed
Her
away in
brother.
an accident?
Yeah, her
Yes,
brother.
and he was able to speak
Through the cards.
through
yeah.
the cards to her, which
Yes.
was a big surprise for her.
Yes.
Okay, she was looking to sort of knock you down because she was a skeptic of sorts.
Yeah.
But what turned out happening was through these cards, you were able to prove to an extent to her that her brother's spirit was there, which
Yeah.
was unexpected. But can I ask you, was that an accident that you came across this ability through these cards, or how did you
I
actually?
think I channeled the system. I actually, there's a famous psychic, what's his name?
Edgar Casey.
No, he's more recent. John Edwards.
Oh right.
John Edwards.
Yes.
He was quite famous about 20 years ago.
Oh right. Yeah. Sure.
I was
Yeah.
watching one of his shows once,
Okay.
and I thought he was tapping into the spirits, and I started to use his system actually.
Okay.
But he doesn't use cards. He just does it live, and pretty much used his system with cards.
I see.
That's how I originally got the idea,
I see. Okay.
and then I sort of it sort of evolved into my style, and then I use it with the card layout.
I don't get the sense that this could be that you would be tapping into bad spirits. It doesn't really have that feeling to me.
No, but if it does, like, this is where it gets tricky. You see,
Right.
this is where spirit stuff gets tricky, because if
Yeah.
people are not stable in themselves, they can freak themselves out.
Yeah.
You know.
I know I've been freaked out by the tarot cards before at about 1 a.m. in my apartment by myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
It got a little bit sketchy, you could say, but everything was okay. I'm still here to tell the tale. Everything will work out okay. All right, guys.
Yeah. That's the downside with spirit. If you're not well versed, or if you're just mucking around, I wouldn't do it. Basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it has that power to be able to get in touch with your ancestors, which I
Yeah.
believe that ancestors are there to help us.
And the book, like you said, goes into the whole story of how to make it work and how to read it, and also I give an example of how it works.
Okay. So to me, I felt it was good to identify blocks in my life. Like I could clearly see where the blocks were, but I know where they are. But I guess if you've got a client that's coming to you, you can clearly identify those blocks.
Oh yeah, and we'll see that soon once we start practicing. Yeah.
Okay. So why is there only one scissor card? What's the story with that?
Well, originally I created the whole deck, and it was 27 cards in total, and I just felt like 27 was an odd number to have a card deck, and there wasn't a card of endings. There was a card of block, there's a card of illusion, a card of fantasy, a card of like success and love and all that, but I needed something to be like specifically a cut, so I just thought of scissors as the instrument of that.
It's quite perfect. It's like the scythe card in the is it Lenormand?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so the scissors card was the last card, and I only needed one because
Yeah.
I felt like it was the definitive stop.
Even though it's the only one, it actually comes out when it's needed.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. So
I
the scissors
noticed
card.
that last night.
Yeah.
So what else do you want to tell us about this Trinity? Are you going to do some readings for us, or
Yeah,
are you going to
let's
show
do
us
some
how?
readings. Let's do
Okay.
some readings, and then we can decipher it, and
Okay.
then people can also write in the comments what they think as well. So feel free to write in the comments your version or your interpretation. A lot of tarot people have their own symbolism and their own interpretations. A lot of people are very good at symbolism reading, right? So they can add their symbolism to the story as well.
Okay. That's great. Okay, and is there anything else you want to explain to us about the Trinity cards?
I think the Trinity cards are really simple, direct, and but they're also very deep. They're very deceptively deep, actually. So we're going to see how they work.
Oh yeah, Jessica Juliet Jones. I love the name. Fantastic, beautiful name. And because because this is a little bit we missed out, but this is a really important question. So thank you. My question: I feel I've done all I can do now in the situation with my love interest. Paris, will we ever be together?
Will they be together? So I'm going to shuffle the cards for Jennifer.
This is such a universal question, isn't it?
Pegasus.
Ah, okay.
So Pegasus typically represents someone who's breaking free, or who's gone on a journey, someone who's kind of like maybe run away, or possibly left.
Oh well, yeah. Well, that's she's asking. She thinks she's done all she can.
Pegasus people in love usually need to be liberated, and they usually are either not ready to be settled down. I'm going to take another card. Yeah, the merman. So the merman is indicating slipperiness, someone that you cannot hold on to. Just like trying to hold on to a slippery fish, it's going to slip through your fingers. So we've got two cards here that are not showing an ability to reconnect with him. Okay, I'm going to pull out one more.
Yes, please.
Yeah, Pegasus again. Okay, so this is very much about release. It's about freedom. It's about liberation. Possibly travel. I wonder if this person's traveled away from her, like distance-wise, because this is very much about travel. They're both, one's over the sea or over water, and the other two are by air. And Pegasus could, because we've got one going and one coming, it could be that someone comes and goes. But because the merman is in the middle, it means that this person will not be someone you can really hold on to. Perhaps what I would suggest is that if you do connect with each other again or communicate, that you should not try to hold on to him. It might be better for her to perhaps have a long distance friendship or communication with him, if that's possible.
Yeah.
Because the merman can also be about communication, but Pegasus is not about being back together or being in a stable, grounded way. Pegasus is the opposite of the ring. The ring is about being committed and united. Pegasus is about liberating. You know when they say, if you love it, set it free, and if it comes back to you, it's meant to be. But
yeah.
So in this case, I would tell her
they never come back though. It's like trying to keep two trains, and they just want to go apart. So that's what's very heartbreaking about this question.
The other thing I would add to that is Pegasus is also about healing. So it could be that Jennifer needs to release, and then from the releasing, she will heal. The other thing I would add to that is the merman does indicate there was something fishy or slippery that's going on between these two. So there could have been deception, could have been not being honest, or perhaps things were not out
as they seemed.
out front, because the merman is a slippery character and it's also deceptive in its energy. So I'm going to say no to that. I'm going to say no to that. Sorry, Jennifer.
Be together?
I'm going to say no to that. But possibly there could be a way you communicate with each other still. But I don't think it's going to equal being together in a relationship way. At least not in the next 12 months. The other thing I wanted to say to Jennifer is I don't read forever. Her question was, will we ever be together?
Yeah.
I don't read forever. I read for 12 months. So what
it's
I
like
would
that
say...
song, will we ever, ever, ever...
You got a lot of songs today.
Get back together.
Yeah.
It's not likely at this stage.
It's not likely, at least not in 12 months.
Yeah.
But I would say it's also not likely even more than that, because there's nothing there that shows me a desire to come back.
Yes. So
Did you feel anything about the Pegasus merman?
I think it's just something that's still ongoing. You know,
Yeah.
I got the feeling that she wants to be released, but she's being held back, and it's it's like a toing and froing.
You mean Jennifer wants to be released, or he?
Yeah, but they're all blue cards. You see,
they're all blue. Blue is like air and water.
Yeah, so it's a toing and froing.
Yeah, there could be a return, but it often is followed by a freedom again. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, Jessica, I think you're sort of like starting to get to that realization that there's plenty of fish in the sea, there's plenty of mermen in the sea. Okay?
That's right.
And
the merman is the fish. Yeah. Yes.
So, that horse, that could be your unicorn to freedom. I really feel like that's where we want to go with this. But as I said before, if you want to have a proper reading with Paris,
if you want to have a proper deep reading with me, then just private message me, and then I'll set that up for you.
Yeah, because he does astrology as well. So he starts with the astrology, then he does a bit of tarot or gypsy cards, but it's good. Like if you actually need a proper confirmation.
Yeah, normally I would do also if the person's like in my shop, I would do the palmistry as well.
Yeah, so it's a multi-pronged approach to knowing what's going on.
All
okay,
right, let's
so
get to the
we
next
move
one.
on from Celia O'Brien, who actually is who's a regular person who is contributing. Selena O'Brien. Okay, she's actually a moderator. Thank you, Selena.
The fabulous Selena.
Yes, I find Steve highly annoying. Okay, this is a good one. Okay, I like this, but feel like we're fated. I guess fated to be together.
Sounds like me and Gypsy Anna.
That's true.
She finds me very annoying.
I
think we're fated.
I find Steve highly annoying. Yeah, well,
yes.
that sounds like marriage material to me.
Sounds perfect.
That's basically like most relationships in the world.
Perfect. All right, what's the actual question? Will they be fated?
But feel like we're fated, yeah. Okay.
The crown.
He's your king. He is your king.
He's the king. Very logical, but lots of thinking.
Yeah.
So could be a little bit too much in the head, but let's see what we get. So we've got the crown, and then we've got the crown again.
Another crown, okay, but this could be a crown of thorns, given that he's a bit annoying.
Yeah. Crown is not really a love card at all.
No,
it's more about money and work.
Right. Yeah.
And then we've got the ring.
Commitment.
There is a connection here, but
there is.
Probably these two people are too much in their heads with each other, and it looks like maybe two egos because it's almost like two kings, but there is a sort of a commitment vibe there with the ring.
Yeah.
So I can see the karmic connection there.
I'm feeling the heaviness of the crowns. I'm feeling like that they have commitments. They have really strong burdens, heavy burdens. I could be wrong, but they both have, it's
more
heavy
logic.
burdens.
Let's just do one extra one, just to see what comes up as the result.
Thank you, Celia.
Oh, the scissors. So it
that
looks
was
like
unexpected.
Yeah, it looks like
that came out of the blue.
But I think she's right because she finds him annoying. But are they fated? I think they are fated because the crown is a bit like a fate card. Isn't it? It's a bit like Diana and Charles were fated to come together. But whether they were good together was a whole different story.
Let's just pull one more because you can't just finish it on a cut.
Scissors. All right. Let's see what happens after the scissors. Pegasus.
Oh, what? Celia, you got to cut this guy and fly away. He must be too annoying.
Doesn't look very heart to heart, does it?
He's about as annoying as I am.
I think she wants to cut his head off. Basically, she wants to de-crown him.
Selena, I don't know if that answers your question or makes you more confused about poor Steve. I'm sure he's not that annoying. Is he? You got to tell us why he's annoying. That's the juicy part.
We need to know.
That's what we want to know. How is Steve annoying? Okay, next person is Dinius Diana. I love that name. Thank you, Dinius. Will my financial situation improve by the end of 2025?
Okay.
Thank you, and smiley face.
Oh.
Thank you very much, Dinius.
Let's see what she gets. Okay, first card. Ring. Okay, ring's all right.
Yep, that's a good money card too.
It's a good money card. Yeah, it's diamonds and it's gold. That's good. But it also has a feeling of
Okay.
slowness to it. Okay,
Okay.
something not quick.
Yep.
Let's see what else we get. And we're going to pull a random one. We have Pegasus. Pegasus is very popular tonight.
It is.
Pegasus could be about getting on top of money situations. Often it's about rising above, seeing a new path, trying new things. Pegasus could also mean people may assist her.
Okay.
So she may need assistance, not to try to do it all on her own, would be the way I would add to that. And the last card is Ring. Okay, Ring again. So we've got Ring, Pegasus, Ring. So this is showing she might have to look at her commitments and her contracts, papers, money papers, legal papers, and then there's a bit of assistance. But I do think that her money will improve.
Yeah, I'm seeing you need to look at some contracts that you're in. You know, try and free yourself from that, and that'll help you to improve your financial situation for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so it looks like. Can we just ask one more? Are these bad contracts that we're looking at here, these rings, or?
I wonder if she's had money problems with a partner or a relationship as well.
I think these are like leases or mortgage or some.
Yeah, it
that's
could be,
how I feel
yeah.
about this. So let's just have a
Yeah,
look.
it could be that she's got money tied up with other people or other things. The golden apple.
Oh,
See,
okay.
the golden apple's an illusion or
Yeah.
some trick or something that's not what it seems.
It's
Not a
bad
good
apple,
card.
right?
Even though it's gold, it's fake gold. So there may be something about her money situation that she needs to get to the core of.
Dinius, I feel like you already know what the answer is to that question, and you've got to tackle these things head on. Okay? If you're in bad contracts, then you need to take action to get out of them, because that will help to. The Pegasus means get free.
Yeah, get
Okay.
free, get out of the bind. The ring can be a bind as well. And then the golden apple is saying something's not what it seems. Maybe something's not done properly.
It's a little bit rotten in there, but I think you need to keep in touch with us, and we will and keep us updated.
Give us some feedback.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, and then moving on to Yvonne. Yvonne is asking, what should I do to get healthy? Well, don't eat a golden apple. That's the first thing. Okay, but eat apples. Apples, look, at the doctor a day, an apple a day.
Ooh, we've got Medusa. So there's
all
definitely a blockage
It's all blocked up.
with Medusa.
Why are you all blocked up, Yvonne?
There's something blocked, and it could be a bit of self-sabotage too.
Okay.
Not feeling worthy. It could be not, because Medusa was ugly and she turned things to stone, so she didn't feel good about herself, and maybe she's not looking after her health the best way she could.
So
Often it's self-sabotage,
Yeah.
Medusa. Let's
Yeah.
pull another one. Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune, things are spinning, sometimes good, sometimes not good.
that
Sometimes
could be a plate. That could be a plate of food.
could be
Now,
food.
you know the food triangle. Have a look at the food triangle first, if you want to get
and
healthy.
the crown. The crown is the mind and the head.
Yeah.
So it's sort of showing that there's some block, need to move things around, and it's also the mind over matter.
Can we pull a couple more and see what that? Because you say that you want to get healthy, but what's wrong with your health? Are you quite unwell, or are
Did
you
she
just
say?
a little bit
I can
overweight?
see the word block there. What's that say?
No, it says here.
Oh, that's
what
someone
should
else.
I do to get healthy?
Oh, right.
You know, generally, I think Paris doesn't like health questions.
I don't. It's the head. See, it's telling you it's something you have to think about, or your
Procrastinating.
mind. Now, the other thing is the crown. Crown represents professional people, like doctors,
Okay.
dietitians, medical professional, anyone that has a degree or high level of knowledge is is the crown. So it could possibly be getting, obviously like a professional advice from somebody
Yep.
that knows about
Yep.
whatever the problem
Yep.
is. But I feel like she can't figure it out on her own. She needs
No.
the assistance of someone, a professional in the field of health.
Yeah.
Maybe
Well,
she's already done that. But if she has already done that, if she's already had medical health practitioners, it shows 2 here. So I feel like
Yeah.
it could be 2 different people, or try somebody else, or don't just listen to one person.
Yeah.
Could be
Yeah.
listen to 2 different people, different
That
professionals.
sounds like very good advice, actually. You know, I've had to see doctors, and you know, once I went to the doctor for some reason, and he said, "Look, mate, you're obese,"
Right.
and I was like, "What?"
Wow.
But you know, my BMI was 30 something, and they said, "No, mate, you're obese. You're going to have to lose
Really?
weight." So then I had to go and see a dietitian, and you know, do all of that. Go
And
on a
were
big
you the
diet.
same size, or were you bigger?
I was like, I didn't have any muscle. I was just sort of fat. You know?
Oh,
Yeah. So,
okay.
but I'm a lot better now. But the only thing is I've lost a lot of hair.
Oh,
You know.
right.
So, but I look more slim than I was. But look, these are things we have to go through in life. Unfortunately, health is one of those things where, you know, you're walking around and you've got lots of concerns, and then all of a sudden you break your arm, and that's your only concern.
Mm. Mm.
You know, my arm's dangling here like this, and then all of a sudden that's all you care
Well,
about.
one of my best friends was going to the gym on his bicycle. So he's a really healthy guy, really fit, right? And he got
Yes.
hit by a car,
Oh,
and he
yikes.
broke his shoulder tendon or whatever up here.
Oh, right. Well,
So this fit dude that was literally going to the gym because he's
Yep.
fit conscious and he's
Yep.
fit, you know, and he got hit by a car.
Well,
So
that's,
the irony of that, huh?
that's
But he's okay now.
Is
It
he?
took him a year of recovery, but he's
God.
okay now.
oh, how
Yeah,
do
it was quite a bad accident. Like
Yeah.
he got thrown off his bike, and he hit his shoulder, dislocated it, but also, I don't know, the tendons or whatever were also affected. And it took-
did you get any indication that something like that was going to happen through the cards?
Well, I did actually. When it happened, I was actually in Europe, and I was doing a reading for him about his work, and I said, I think he had the tower.
Oh God.
I said, oh, there might be a lot of changes in your work, or something unexpected will happen. And he was like, no, we're pretty stable at work. I said, I don't know, there's something's going to upset the apple cart.
Yeah.
And I was sort of saying things
Yeah.
like that to him.
Yeah.
Something's going to upset the apple cart, and you know, something's going to go upside down. And I was using those words.
You're
I
gonna
didn't
go
realize it was
literally-
him.
You're going to be flying upside down shortly, but
I didn't realize it was literally him that was the one
Yeah.
that was going to be doing that.
So, poor Yvonne, I'm sorry to hear that your health is compromised here, but maybe you can send us a a message later and let us know how you're going. But our thoughts are with you, Yvonne. Jack, Ventimiglia. That's a fantastic name, mate. I love it. I feel a new love coming in after a big move I'm making. That's a manifestation I've been working on for years. I feel it, but it's not part of the plan in my manifestation. The feeling is overwhelming. I wanted to post this anonymous, but didn't want the energy blocked. Thank you. I think I need to read this again so I can understand it fully. I feel a new love coming in after a big move that I'm making. That's a manifestation I've been working on for years.
Okay.
I feel it, but it's not part of the plan in my manifestation. Okay.
So basically, he wants to know about his love life, right?
Yeah, I feel a
Let's
new
see.
love coming in. Let's see.
Ooh, well, the
That's
violence.
nice.
Okay, the right elements need to be in place. Things
Yeah.
are growing slowly and steadily.
Beautiful,
Right, that's
beautiful.
good,
We're on
that's
the right
good.
track here.
That's good. And then we go to
The merman. Okay.
Something's not quite there, but let's pull out the third one to just consolidate that. Oh, Medusa. Ooh.
Kind of a warning, I think.
So
Is it
it's
a
a
bit
little
of
bit, yeah, it's a little bit like he's on the right track with the violet,
Yeah.
but maybe he's going to be tested. Maybe he
Yeah.
will meet someone and it just doesn't, it's not the right thing for his health and well-being and balance.
Yeah.
But something seductive will show up with the merman.
Yep.
Merman could be a woman too if you're straight, and could be a mermaid, But the Medusa is almost like someone that might bring their baggage in with them as well. So, or it could be someone who uh, kind of messes up with your violets, your growing beautiful violet there. So there's something a bit tricky there. I'm going to pull out one more.
Jack's all about the energy too. He's about manifesting things and
Apple. Oh yeah. So it could be someone who's going to test you. I think he's right when he's saying he's trying to manifest it, but not quite right in that. So the golden apple is about seduction, and it's also a little bit about something false, like not real gold. So you do have to. Maybe you're going to be tested. You know, love is always not the way that we want it to go. You know, what's that? There's no. What is it? There's something about. Love never flows. I forget the saying, but it was about like you can't have love the way that you think it should be. It's the way it's going to be.
Yeah. Exactly.
All is fair in love and war. That's not the saying, but I can't think of the saying.
True, but Jack, don't block yourself, buddy. But it seems as though somehow you're being tested.
The road to love is never something like that.
Love isn't always on time, as they say.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. But I like the energy, Jack. That's good, mate. I think that's very
I think
important.
Jack's going to be tested.
Yeah,
I think he's going to have he's going to have a love interest, but whether that love interest is going to enhance his world is to be seen. It's not all roses.
That's right. It's not all violets, mate. Okay, this is real life, Jack. Okay, thank you, Jack. Thanks for the question, buddy. Good luck with the manifestation. Now, the last one here is Kerry Kudron. Kudron. Kerry Kudron. And it's Keri, Kerry Kudron.
Yep.
Will I finally meet someone that I like? Thank you. That is a universal question. It really, really, and yes, one day you will. It will
Let's
be.
see.
It will actually be yourself.
Well, let's see. Yourself. All right.
Yes.
What was the name? Kerry?
Yeah, Kerry Kudron.
Kerry. Come on, Kerry. Oh, the golden apple.
Ah, yikes.
So, Kerry, you may be putting out the wrong vibe, but because the golden apple looks wonderful, but there's something sinister or not real gold about it.
Yeah, it's a little bit rotten.
It could be that she's wanting something, but she may not be matching that herself.
Okay.
Like she may be wanting someone, you know, that she wants, but she may not be a match. But let's see what happens next. Oh, self-block. Yeah, there's some blockage, Kerry, of yourself. Perhaps perhaps what she's wanting or what she thinks isn't really it could be like an illusion.
Not realistic.
The golden apple is a little bit like the Seven of Cups.
Oh yeah.
Like illusionary. All is not what it seems.
Yeah.
And so it could be that she herself may not be clear. The Medusa is definitely a self-block.
Yeah.
And let's see one more. Violets. Violets means needing to find the centeredness, groundedness within yourself. So then you open up like a flower, and then you attract the right love. But I think she's starting off on two cards that are not healthy. So there could be some self-reflection that needs to happen, and some healing, and then you bloom. Yeah. Like a violet, and then that's when you meet someone. But I think this is going to take a few months for her to get through. Yeah.
I agree. I think just the way that you framed that question as well is an indication that you don't like yourself, which is hard. Like I've done this. I've been like this myself over the years. Like I always outsourced my own happiness to other people, and it just led to like these codependent, toxic relationships. Even now, I don't like to be by myself for too long, but look, life's a journey.
I'm the opposite. I love being by myself.
No.
Well, I've always lived on my own. I love it. But you know why? Because I deal with people every day, all day, every day, right? So I have like relationship questions, relationship issues, legal is people with problems with legal, people with problems with their exes, people with problems with everything. And then the last thing I need is to be with someone in my own space. Like once I close the door, you know, then it's like, okay, now I can just connect with myself.
Yeah, I could imagine that. I could imagine
Yeah,
that being quite peaceful. You
Yeah,
need
because
that.
I'm dealing with everyone's stuff
Yeah.
all day, every day, you know.
100%.
And people come in different sizes, shapes, places, energies, different problems, you know. And obviously my job is about talking.
Yeah, well, you're like a sort of like a therapist for
Yeah.
people as well, providing direction. Was that helpful for you? Were these readings on point and helpful for you?
Yeah,
That's
let us know.
that's the question. But
Should we finish up
yeah, I
Yeah.
think we're pretty much
at the end of those questions, and then we'll do some more next time. We'll continue doing some more reading. So please put your questions in the comments section, and we will get around to them as we go, and then we'll let you know that your reading has been done if you didn't see the video. Okay, so this is Paris Debono of the Fortune Teller Shop, and this is Ivan the Marvelous of the universe.
got to keep my head like this so I don't
Yeah.
knock people over with my
That's
big
right.
nose.
That's right. And you've been watching the Fortune Teller Show.
Good evening to everybody from Sydney,
See you later.
Australia.
Bye.